Good morning. I don't know. That was playing a couple of times more than it normally does, and I was hearing it. Also, it was playing on another tab that I had open. But good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. Hit the like, share, and subscribe. If you are new here, you have to subscribe for 5 minutes in order to chat. Um, Welcome to Politics in Plain English. We take current political events and explain what's happening, why it's happening, and what it actually means. Okay. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Good morning, y'all. First of all, let's shout out our autism families. It is National Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month. So shout out to our autism families. Y'all know I'm an autism mom. So shout out to those kiddos and those families. Know that you are important. Your life is just as important as anyone else's. And we hope that this world can become more accepting and more appreciative of your way, your outlook on life. And if you're here, y'all know my son love donuts, so send him a couple $5. You know what I'm saying? The Real K Fit is the Cash App, or send a super chat. Supporting that cause. Y'all know he likes his donuts every morning. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So we're gonna get straight into this thing. I am home today. Y'all know my son's allergies just took him through there last night, and he didn't get to sleep till about 2 a.m. because he was just so stuffy. And I did not, his allergy medicine, I kind of waited too late because I was wanting him to have a full stomach. And I kind of waited too late to give him the allergy medicine. So by the time it kicked in, it was in the wee hours in the morning. So I elected to let him rest today. And let him just kind of relax and let his body relax or whatever. Because the pollen, y'all know, good morning, good morning, good morning. Y'all know that pollen ain't no joke. It's got a lot of people in the chokehold, including me. I kind of sniffle a little bit, but it is what it is. So I am working from home today. Or whatever. So that's cool. So that's why you kind of see a different background. I am from in the living room area. So you may see my dog come up as well. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Speak to each other in the chat. I don't like to individually speak because once I start doing that, I get off topic and get off of my flow. So I hope you guys understand. Just know when I say good morning, that is my way of acknowledging you when you come in. When I say good morning, that is my way of acknowledging you when you come in. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into it, baby. All right. So the commander-in-chief, the shitter-in-chief, I don't know, whatever y'all want to call him. The deranged in chief, whatever we want to call him right today. I'm just going to say this. At least when Sleepy Joe was in office, we all could sleep at night, right? We knew we didn't have to wake up to something else. And every day is something else with this administration, whether it is the president and his crazy ass post on Truth Social, whether it is something he's called into a show and decided to do one of these rants, whether it is now he's trying to sue or bring charges against somebody, or whether he has dropped a bomb on a school or a hospital, right? So this morning, we wake up to this. Good morning. Trump considers quitting NATO, says Iran war could, good morning, could end soon. Trump is considering quitting NATO. NATO, the very organization, right, that has an alliance with all of the big countries, who lost several tens of thousands of soldiers when we decided to go in the tombs of Afghanistan and Iraq for weapons of mass destruction. And I'm doing air quotes because those weapons of mass destruction were never found, right? Never found. But these countries decided to go to war with us. Good morning. Decided to go to war with us. Lockstep. Not only put their soldiers and troops in harm's way, but it has economic impacts as well whenever countries go to war. It just does, right? He wants to leave NATO because after he's bashed NATO, after he's bashed these other countries, after he has placed unnecessary tariffs on any and everybody he felt like he could just because, after he's called nations shithole countries, he's talked about their leaders, he wants to invade certain spaces and take their land. After he's done all of that, he's upset because those countries will not align with his choice war that he's decided to pick up with Bibi Netanyahu. So he's mad, just like a kid who can't play with the toy that he wants to play with because at the time that it was available, he said he didn't want to play with it. So soon as somebody else picked it up, now he's mad. Yeah, this is who we have. Good morning. Good morning. This is who we have making decisions for not us only nationally, but globally. This is who we have right now. Good morning. This is who we have. This is a petulant child. This is someone who can't make his way out of a wet paper bag when all you got to do is either rip it or lift it over your head. Him and Bibi Netanyahu, and I keep telling you guys this, him and Bibi Netanyahu are one and the same. Why are they one and the same? Number one, Israel is not the Israel biblical terms, and they're using this Christianity tactic to make people think, oh, if you're one of your gateways to heaven is to support Israel. What? No, the Israel of today is not Israel of biblical times. And we know that. Go take that up with your mama. Go argue with your mama. Bibi Netanyahu needed this war to start so he doesn't go to jail. Trump needed this war to start so the Epstein files won't keep rolling out and he doesn't go to jail. You understand? They both very corrupt. Bibi Netanyahu isn't even from Israel. He's Polish. Y'all follow me here? They both one and the same. These folks both one and the same. They're just one and the same. It is what it is. They're both corrupt. They're both disastrous. They're both monsters. And none of them care about the people that they lead. They only care about themselves. Okay, they only care about themselves. And furthermore, he's going to waste even more of our time today because this man, he's also going to the Supreme Court, but we're going to get on that in a minute. However, he thinks that he is protected by all measures, that he cannot be found guilty, he cannot be charged, that he has complete immunity. Well, the court said not so quickly here. Okay. This man also has promised to sue every accuser, okay, of the 28 women. They have found him liable. So civilly, there is some fragility there. Okay. But he's going to waste our time and taxpaying dollars, our taxpaying dollars, to try to counter-sue every accuser, because guess who's going to represent him? Not his personal lawyer. It's going to be the DOJ that is going to represent him. It's not going to be it's not going to be a private lawyer. It is going to be someone that has a White House pass to go in there and talk to him about all of these cases. That's who's going to be the one, our taxpaying dollars. This man right here. Mind you, he was ordered to pay $88.3 million. Mm-hmm. Mind you, his tab is still running up in New York because it's interest on that one. You know, the the court case that Letitia James brought up against him, tax evasion, all this other stuff he was doing. Same thing, right? This man can't be trusted to do anything. He can't even be trusted to tie his own shoe, more or less to run a country. But this is what we wake up to every day. And he's going to waste even more of our time in tax-paying dollars. He says, because remember yesterday we talked about the Birthright Citizenship case, right? We talked about that, right? This man said let me show y'all this. Let me just show y'all this real quick. He gonna further waste our time today. Look at this. He is going to attend the Supreme Court's hearing this morning to hear oral arguments. It takes tax-paying dollars for Secret Service to move him wherever he needs to go. And he is going to waste our time by going up to the court because this is a pressure tactic. This is an intimidation tactic. Because remember, it's 3 judges that he got appointed. He got them in there by bribery. Y'all remember Amy Coney Barrett? Some of her loans got paid off. Scott Gorsuch, his student loans were wiped away and his mortgage was wiped away. So he's going to go up there today and try to intimidate these judges to sway to, he wants to dismantle the 14th Amendment. And you cannot dismantle the 14th Amendment by saying just because you don't like it. Okay. That's what he's trying to do. And here's the crazier part about this, right? What people fail to understand, that that's not how this works. I don't know how many times I have to tell y'all this. That's not how this works. How it works is the states have to come together. Then 2/3 of Congress has to come together in agreement on this. The same way he demolished the East Wing, and you cannot make any structural changes to the White House without congressional approval, is the same way that this has to go. It has a little bit more layers and steps to it, but it has similar traveling, a journey to get to that destination. You can't just say, oh, this, and that, and the third. But however, if he wants to end birthright citizenship, that 9-foot ass son that he got, who's also looks like he's prime choice for the for the military, needs to be shipped up out of here. Because Melania is not from here. That means also all of his kids need to get on up out of here too, because none of their mothers are from here. Y'all following me here? See, it's mighty funny that you married someone who isn't here and you're a felon, want to tell people you're trying to get all of the immigrants that are criminals out of here. Not the pot calling the kettle. I know you lying to me. You have 30 plus felonies and you've married multiple immigrants who you've had children by, who you also cheated on them, right? So much for the Christianity thing. And you want to now convince us that you're wanting to get people who were not born here or don't have a legal, even if you have a legal citizenship, people who were not born here need to get out of here. And people who are criminals need to get out of here. Are y'all okay? Is everybody all right? Like, nurse, he's out again. Make this make sense, because 1 + 1 definitely isn't making 2 here. Okay. 2 × 2 isn't making 4. These people are ass backwards. These people are hypocrites. The hypocrisy. You got Pete Hegseth, the what is it? The Secretary of War, when it's really the Secretary of Defense. You got this man who had a wife, beat her ass, and was cheating on her, and was beating her ass, and is a drunk. Who was a Fox News commentator and a podcast person. Who can't even string 2 sentences together correctly without slurring and slurping. Want to tell us that he wants to quote Bible scriptures as why he is bombing Iran and why we should be praying for the soldiers. If y'all don't find something, we can't be talking about the same. We cannot be talking about the same Bible. We cannot be talking about the same God. We really cannot be talking about it. And see, y'all getting tricked out of y'all spot, the ones that are believing it. And when I say y'all, I'm talking to the ones that believe it, okay? MAGA is getting tricked out of their spot because y'all are falling for the okie doke. These people have failed marriages, wives that aren't even from here. Marco Rubio, hey, little Marco, you know, the one that was drinking that water all nervous and sweat pouring down when he was responding to the State of the Union. Him, that guy, you know, down there from Florida. You know, the one that was born in Cuba. That guy, who's the Secretary of State, that guy. You're not even from here. And you want to sit here and align yourself with this administration? You're not even from here, though. Your family fled oppression to have a better life. So how dare you align with the hypocrisy of stating we're getting all the criminals out? People needed what? Because y'all migrated here and didn't go straight through the line first either. Catch. It wasn't like y'all, you know, you came here and you filed. No. Y'all crossed the border the way that y'all needed to. Y'all fled y'all country the way that y'all needed to. Okay. And eventually you got citizenship. But how is it you guys, the same thing that you guys did, you're condemning other people from doing? Like I just can't understand it. But you know, furthermore, what I find so funny, a lot of these Latinos, I will vote for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. You know those. Remember that? Y'all remember that song that was going on and they had the little band and they doing the salsa and the merengue in the background. Y'all remember that? Because in your mind, your proximity to whiteness made you feel like he wasn't talking about you. But you can't work on the farm peacefully. You can't do good morning, good morning, good morning. You can't. Your kids can't go to school peacefully without ICE raids being at bus stops. You can't really work your hospitality jobs. They throwing y'all in, we're gonna call it what it is, concentration camps where where the girls are getting raped at alarming rates. And we're gonna touch on that in a second because an ICE agent has been found guilty of it. And then you want to vote, then you want to quote scriptures. He loves God. He did it. Blah, 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 blah. How is that working out for you? And then you have the nerve to get on TikTok and Instagram and say we all need to come together and work together. The Black people, this is what they're saying. The Black people need to work with us because the Black people don't need to do nothing. We need to tend to the rivers and the lakes that we're used to, okay? Because we tried to tell you what it was going to look like. But again, your proximity to whiteness in your mind, because there is no proximity, they look at you, dare I say the word, but they look at you like that. And the ones that's catching it is catching it. And see what they thought was going to happen. They thought, oh, we can get all of these people out here and we can get black people to come work. No, we don't work in fields anymore. We've been there, done that. We've been there, done that. We're not working in fields no more, nor are we working for $10 an hour if we can help it. See, this is where you got us messed up because we're far educated now. Okay. But we tried to tell you to protect your children. We tried to tell you to protect that very husband. You know, I will vote for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. Guess what? Her husband got deported. Mm-hmm. And then she's up here sobbing in front of the camera. She's sobbing on social media. He lied to us. Girl, ain't that what he do? We already know that if Donald Trump's mouth is moving 10 times out of 10, he lying. Okay, when has he told the truth about anything? Well, we do know what he told the truth about. He told the truth about stealing the election because he said it was the numbers, and Elon got us the numbers. And it came in so fast. We know that. We know he told the truth that he grabs women by the ussies because he can. We know that he said he can mail in his ballot because he's the president of the United States and can do what he wants to do. When he was actually in Florida during voting, where he could have went in and actually casted his vote, but no, he mailed it in with that 9-foot fit for the draft son and that non-English Epstein worker. I'm gonna call it what it is. Epstein worker, tramp ass wife. See, they don't like this type of teacher. We're gonna call it what it is. Epstein worker, tramp ass wife, all mailed in y'all ballot. So it's only good for y'all. Okay. What they fail to realize is that Republicans vote through the mail as well. And I believe they vote through the mail at a higher rate than the Democrats do. But okay, go off. This is who you guys elected. You elected a man who called his daughter, I think she was like 13, 14 at the time when he did the Howard Stern interview. And he said she's a hot piece of ass. Didn't I tell y'all something? It's pay attention to the context clues. And they're not really context clues. He's telling you, but those are the things that he is truthful about. He is truthful about who he is. He thinks that he is above consequence and that he is above reproach. We also know that he hired construction workers and companies to build up these hotels and all these other things, and then wouldn't pay them and file for bankruptcy and had them take out loans to pay for the projects in advance. Instead, oh, I'll pay you later, and they never got paid. They get caught up in court and potentially never see that money. This is who we're talking about. We're talking about somebody who claims that they're a Christian and says, I love the blacks, but holds the Bible upside down. And when you ask him his favorite Bible verse, he says all of it. And then he says 2 Corinthians. Now, where are my Bible people at? Where are my church folk at? Raise your hand in the air. Wave it like you just don't care. Okay. Where are my church folk at? Last time I checked, is 2 Corinthians and not 2 Corinthians. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But I know for me in my house, ain't never been no 2 Corinthians. It's always 2 Corinthians. Okay. It's always 2 Corinthians for me in my house. So again, I don't know what type of Christian y'all talking about. This Christianity that y'all make believe and y'all cherry picking Bible verses to give you the excuse as to why you're doing what you're doing, but they always miss over the part where Jesus washed the feet of people. They always miss over the part where Jesus was feeding the hungry They always missed over the part, thou shalt not judge. They missed over that part. They miss over adultery. They miss over all of these things. Because we know most of them, all white men that are in office, have cheated on their wives and are DL. What is DL? They're down low. Why are they down low? Because the Republican National Convention went on and the Grindr app crashed. And it's so many cases that have come out where interns or people that are clerking and are working on the staff of some of these congressmen are finding out to having extracurricular activities with young males. Just like the president of Liberty University, him and his wife, I don't know if y'all remember that, who is a big Donald Trump supporter, Liberty University, they did that mass, that big old, rally for him and had that big old stage and was rah, rah, shish, and bah, we're for God, we're for the Lord. And it comes out to where y'all are having, swinger parties, swinger events in your household. And this is why I look at people that use that as an angle to vote while they vote. If I don't care about what you're doing in your bedroom, and if you don't want nobody to find out what you're doing in your bedroom, why are you so obsessed with other people are doing it in their bedroom? If a man wants to kiss a man, that is his business. Okay? That is his business. The hypocrisy is just large. You know what I'm saying? It just really is. If a man wants to do this stuff, or a woman, whatever they want to do, it is what they want to do. Listen, go for it. Like, go for it. If you want to, you know what I'm saying? If you want to have tatas and duck lips, go for it. And make 8. If this is what you want to do, go for it. Go for it. Okay? Go for it. Do you understand? Do y'all understand me? If you want to marry a man that is a cross-dresser that loves to have boobies and go whoop, 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 and shaking things side to side and look like they're in a wet t-shirt contest, please go for it. Take us out of the group chat. Go for it. But don't judge other people for doing the very same thing that you doing. And then this woman, Kristi Noem, that is, this her husband. If y'all wondering what we looking at, this her whole husband. The one that was going after, people that was then they ain't even got the nipples right. One nipple was way up here and the nipple went, girl, did you have kids? Girl, sis, you could have did better than that, girl. But this is a very woman that was, first of all, we already know she got a boyfriend. So for her to say she had no idea he was living a double life, that's a lie, because you live in a double life too. You over there screwing Corey Lewandowski in the private jet where you had a bedroom in there. You had a bedroom design in there because you screwing that man in there while y'all taking all of these private flights and having these secret dinners. Meanwhile, your husband at home over there wanting to be a female, wanting to have jugs, wanting to have tataliciouses, okay? He's wanting to have, that's what he's wanting to have. He wants to feel like a woman. I'm totally crazy. I think I'm a lady. Oh, yeah, that one. That one. That one. And now she's asking for privacy. No, it ain't no privacy. Baby, it ain't no privacy because your face was plastered on a $200 million campaign running through the United States of America talking about you're going to deport people and you're playing cosplay. Doesn't this sound familiar? I keep telling you, y'all, you can't make this shit up. She cosplays just like her husband. These bitches is wild. You got one woman cosplaying in different outfits. One day she's a Texas Ranger. The next day she's a Power Ranger. And then the next day I don't know what other Ranger she could possibly be. Meanwhile, her husband is at home with lopsided titties and one nipple pointing down and one nipple pointing towards the sky. You cannot make this shit up. Okay? You just really can't. You cannot make this shit up. You can't. I'm just saying. I mean, just look at it. Y'all look at it. Let me bring it closer to you. Look at it. Look at the nipple. You got one nipple up here pointing up to the sky, saying hi. You got another nipple that's like, they both on high beam. Like, girl, where did you get this prosthetic stuff at? Because that ain't it. You need to go get your money back. Or is it you don't really know how to operate it or whatever? Then look at the duck lips. You would think that the same way his wife went and got those lip injections, he might have would have followed suit. They could have even went together. You know, they could have had a couples Botox lip injection appointment. You know how you have like couples massages and stuff like that. They could have went as a couple, and they probably could have got a discount. They probably could have got a discount, you know, a 2-for-1, or, you know, buy one, get one half off, some bullshit like that. And then could have came out here and said, you know, if you want your lips to look like us, go to this place, and could have got a kickback for it, because we know that that's what they do anyway. That's how Corey Lewandowski's company scored all of that money for that military contract of a company that had only been established for 11 days. Child, play with your mama, don't play with us. We're on to you guys. We are on to you guys. Girl, cue the Shania Twain. But y'all want to dig up other people's households when this is right here is going on with y'all. Like, please give me a break. Give me a whole break. I'm not going. I'm not buying none of this stuff. Like, this is crazy. This is like, y'all, come on. This stuff is absolutely absurd. And she's asking for privacy. No, bitch. No. Ain't no privacy here, ho. When you order them folks to pull out them people out of their homes in the middle of the night with no clothes on, them kids is in their pajamas and it's cold outside in the middle of the winter, you had men sitting zip tied on the side of the curb and nothing but their underwear. Ain't no privacy, ho. Ain't no privacy. We're not giving it to you. We're not going. You don't deserve it. So the same way that you comb through other people's lives and want to do things, no, we're going to talk about it. It's here. It's here in broad daylight. And this is a prime example is why you better go ahead and make sure your doorstep is clean and clear before you want to run and be an attack dog. Because we don't hear what Donald Trump said. He said he found that disappointing. He ain't gonna come to your help. He already wants you out of here, because when you was up there in front of that hearing and Jasmine Crockett and John Ossoff ate your ass up, you were doing him a disservice. Oh, we clowning. We clowning. They both look like bimbos. Okay. Both of them. We clowning today. We are clowning. Seriously. But see, this also goes into vetting. And people always wonder why nothing real came out of Obama's administration, because they vetted him and then re-vetted him and then vetted the vetted. There were people he actually wanted to point on his administration, but because it was just something a little bit that he knew that they could make a mountain out of a molehill, he said, I can't. They don't vet nobody. They throw anybody up there. You got pedophiles walking around. You do. You really do. Grifters walking around. You know, grifters like Erica Kirk, you know her, who's also so upset because Drewski did that skit that never said her name. And, you know, she calls herself being a Christian too. You know, where they're delaying the investigation of Charlie Kirk's death because the very casing that had anti-Trump message on it does not even go with the alleged rifle that was used. Think about that. Yeah, think about that. Good morning, everybody coming in. Please hear, like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend that I am live. And we having a good time today. We having a real good time today. That's my son calling my phone from the other room. Pay him no mind. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to have a good time today talking about these crooks and these bimbos. All right. Talking about these bimbos. And another grifter. Okay, we've got several grifters today. We've got several grifters today. Hi, Jax. Sorry, guys. Hi, Jax. I love you, okay? Can I call you back? Thank you. FaceTiming me from the other room. Like, I ain't got nothing to do. You know what I'm saying? Surprised he ain't out here trying to be in my business. Shout out to Jax. Another grifter that I'm going to share with y'all. Give me just a second here. Look at this. This man, nursing home owner, Trump pardon. Y'all find there's always similarities. He didn't pay his workers. And also, it was a lot of Medicaid fraud that was going there. Guess what? He pardoned him. Look at him. He pardoned this man. Sure did. Pardon this old white man who is stealing yet again. And guess who else? Who else that remind you of? Y'all remember Brett Favre, the beloved quarterback? He stole all that Medicaid money to build a stadium in his name and got away with it. Same thing. And speaking of building stadiums, do you know that Ron DeSantis down in Florida, y'all got to do something. I mean, y'all making some moves because y'all state Senate is being flipped every which way. Okay, y'all making some moves, but now we need to work that up the chain to get a governor and some senators and some congressmen and women in there. Okay, but Miami Airport, I believe, is it Miami Airport? Ron DeSantis, an executive order to where now the airport can be named after Donald Trump. Child, I wouldn't want to land in that airport if my life depended on it. It looks like Fort Lauderdale's airport might become a little bit more popular. Because nobody wants to fly into an airport with a bunch of gaudy gold things and Trump's face everywhere. I wouldn't trust it. Okay. And again, I'm going to say this every day until y'all start doing it to my travelers. Remember, take your biometric screening off. Use your code, because a TSA worker, if they just hold their phone up here, they've got access and they are going through phones, especially at customs. Take that off of there. If you're using ChatGPT, switch to cloud. ChatGPT secretly signed a contract with the government to allow government to have access to everything that you talk about on there without any type of nothing. Okay? With any type of nothing. Don't get caught out there, because I'm going to tell you I told you so. Do not get caught out there. So meanwhile, we talking about signing stupid shit, right? This man has signed yet another stupid shit last night, another executive order. He is the executive order in chief. He signs the most executive order that are frivolous, because the executive order technically is not law. And I want you guys to understand that. An executive order technically is not law. Okay. So I want y'all to listen to my girl. Okay. I just want you. Yeah, Jackson's calling me again. Jesus Christ. I just want y'all to listen to this really quickly. Hang on for me. Make sure the volume is there.
Donald Trump signed an executive order requiring states to impose stricter mail-in voting rules, and he's directing the Department of Homeland Security to create a list of confirmed U.S. citizens eligible to vote in each state. Now, it's not clear what authority Trump is relying on to carry out this order, and legal challenges are almost certain. States, not the president, have broad authority to run elections, and to be clear, non-citizen voting in federal elections is already illegal. It's already exceedingly rare. And Trump, who called voting by mail cheating, well, he voted by mail in a recent Florida special election. He defended that decision, saying, "I'm president of the United States." But everybody else, you get this. Look, I mean, there are lots of issues with this, not the least of which is that even if Trump wanted to do this, doing it by executive order seems blatantly illegal, unconstitutional. It'll be challenged. But the premise of what he's trying to do, I think, speaks to his false belief, which he reiterated today, that he won an election that he lost.
Yeah, the irony here is actually this hurts Republicans too. Every time he comes out against mail-in voting, you have the other side, the political side of the Republican Party going, okay, but we really want people to vote and vote by mail. A lot of our voters vote by mail. I'm old enough to remember when I was a Republican, we actually won many elections because we had an advantage on the mail-in voting. We were really, really good at the absentee ballot chasing, at the mail-in identification, at getting those people to turn out and vote. It was a huge advantage structurally.
So y'all get the gist. Sorry, Jackson keep calling my phone, so I had to turn the phone off. He signed an executive order to crack down on mail-in ballots, but he voted by mail. Just let that sink in for a second. I'm sorry for the buffering that's going on. My child is calling me. And you know about Apple products, your computer is connected to your phone, to your tablet, all of that great stuff. So I apologize for that in advance. But this crazy man signed an executive order to crack down on mail-in ballots. But him, that 9-foot ass, draft ready son, and that tramp ass wife, voted by mail. You want to talk about audacity? Audacity, but see, the reason why Republicans can't fully get behind this because they know they'll lose. They know that they will lose because they know that will discourage people from actual voting day to going in the poll booths and standing in the long lines to vote. He knows that because we know by statistics showing, statistically, more Democrats go because of the souls to the polls on Sundays. The souls to the polls where churches gather together and get their people to the polls by driving them there and making sure they have transportation to and from the polls. We know that. We know that early voting at the polls are very attractive to our metropolitan cities. And we know there is a high Democratic voter rate for same-day voting as well. Trump is about to fuck around and find out that he think that this is good, but it ain't going to do what he think it's going to do. It's not going to do for him what he thinks it's going to do. But we already know he always does things that he thinks is going to go one way, like the Iran war. Okay? Like the choice war that we're in, he thought he could bully his way to get control of the Strait of Hormuz, to also, I'm helping Israel. And also, we know he wants to steal people gas because that's what he did with Venezuela. He thought that that was going to happen too. But guess what? Because when you are inept, when you are incompetent, when you are in direct dialect of your duty, you know, those people that don't deserve the promotion but get the promotion because of who they know and not what they know. One of them. Because you know nothing about running a business, more or less serving, because government officials serve. Remember that. They serve. They are servants. They serve at the pleasure of the American people. Okay. So you think because he can't run a business, he's never been in any type of service position except getting served fellatio and servicing that little itch he probably got, you know, penicillin shot. Yeah, I'm on one today. He does not know how to run this country at all. High gas prices. Because what he thought, he was going to be able to bully Iran. But see, one thing about Iran, there's a reason why other presidents before him didn't mess with Iran. It is a reason why Obama said, no, let's get a peace treaty. Let's come to an agreement. Because them same niggas don't care. Okay? They don't care. They do not care. And they are ready to be a martyr. Yeah, I said it. They're ready to be a martyr. They cannot stand American people. And when I say American, it's the type of American people they can't stand. Because they've already said, we don't have a problem with Black people because we know what it's like to be oppressed. We know that they're the oppressed people. Okay? Catch. They don't like pedophiles. And whoever is running their media campaign, child, I don't know if y'all been seeing those AI generated videos where they want Trump. They're coming after Trump and they telling him, hey. Meanwhile, he throwing threats out talking about he gonna go after their electrical grid. They said, come on. We got enough gas. Bring it on. Because we getting help from your little buddy Putin, who is feeding him information that Donald Trump has already given him. Catch. Y'all don't understand, this man has sold the country. The man sold the country in his first administration. He sold the country then. And I said it then. He sold the country for cheap. And I know for a fact that Putin has compromised on Donald Trump. That's probably something in the Epstein files, and it has been floated millions of times that he likes golden showers, and there is video of him getting golden showers. Is it something I want to see? Absolutely not. But this is what they're saying as to why he always capitulates to Putin. China is also backing Iran. So what does that mean? It's a digital war too. So when we start seeing certain outages, because China is light years in front of us. They're light years in front of us in healthcare. They're light years in front of us in everything, in technology. Just go on TikTok videos and YouTube videos and see how people are living in China. Actually, it looks kind of dope. Their transportation system, how they clean, all these different things. Their education, the way they educate their children, they're preparing their children for the future. Meanwhile, we're over here banning books. Banning books that was created by a white mom who can barely read a book and want to tell us what our kids can read. No, how about you tell your kid what they can and can't read, and let us tell our own kid what they can and can't read. Stop going around and trying to push off what your moral compass is, because we know one thing: those type of folks don't have moral compasses. Because if they had moral compasses, they would be able to say slavery was wrong. They can't even fix their lips to say that. Those type of folk. Not talking about all of them. That type though. That mom, the book banning mom, y'all know, down there in Florida, who didn't even know what the books were about, but merely because of the type of author and the type of cover that it had. And it was like they were looking up words to find, you know, how Doge did with ChatGPT, and search for trigger words. They put in certain words to find about these certain books, about certain things. And she targeted those books, you know, Black authors, books about highlighting Black and brown children's slavery, also highlighting the Holocaust, highlighting, it was even things, you know, about our LGBTQIA community. Let parents tell their kids what they can and can't read. Stop trying to police somebody else's child. And that's the problem. Y'all don't want to police when it comes to gun violence, but y'all want to police when it comes to reading books. Y'all don't want to police private gun sales where it can be trackable, but y'all want to police what kids are learning in school. Y'all want to change history books to take slavery out of it because it makes white people feel bad. Good. And see, what we're not asking, we're not really asking for you to feel bad. What we're asking for is for you to learn the history and help us undo the laws that are still in place to oppress us continuously. That's it. We wasn't a part of the slavery. You wasn't a part of slavery because we wasn't even born yet. We wasn't even thought of yet. However, your ancestors were. So to me, logically thinking, if you don't see race, because you know they love to say that, I don't see color. I don't see color. Well, if you don't see color, then help us undo the very policies that do see color. It's not rocket science. It's just not. There is no reason why Title I schools are overcrowded and underfunded. Because they funneling money everywhere. That's a whole nother topic for another day. But these are things that are going on every day. And yes, gas price is still an average of $4. Okay. When you look around at people's energy bills, they're going up $50, $60, $70 and more a month. Okay. And because it is a monopoly, because these energy agencies have become a monopoly like Duke, there should be more than one power company in a state, if you ask me. You go down in Florida, you have, I know in Jacksonville, you got JEA. There's only one power company. So they can charge you whatever rates that they want to, and there's nowhere else for you to go. Okay. This is what they're kind of trying to do to the cell phone industry. Remember, we used to have all these multiple, we used to have Sprint. We had Sprint, we had Singular Wireless, we had AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. We have 5 major companies. Now all we have is Verizon and T-Mobile and AT&T. Because they know the more they monopolize it, it lessens your choices. And then you have to just be okay with paying whatever the price it is that they give you, lining their pockets. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But this is what's going on in America, people. Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is exactly what is going on in America, people. And I want you, to keep your eyes open. And lastly, I told you guys I wanted to show you this about this ICE officer. Okay. I want to show you guys this. This is disgusting. It is absolutely horrific. Okay. I don't know if you guys, let me make it bigger. Hold on.
Center in Basile is awaiting sentencing for sexual abuse of a detainee there. David Corvell accepted a plea deal yesterday, according to authorities. They say Corvell worked at the center from January 1st to July 30th. Former ICE officer at South Louisiana Processing Center in Basile is awaiting sentencing for sexual abuse of a
Y'all heard it right. That ICE agent, good morning. That ICE agent was found guilty for sexually abusing detainees. And I've been telling y'all quietly, they're finding out that teenage pregnancy in these concentration camps are on the rise because in female only concentration camps, because they are abusing and raping those girls. And they're raping them and impregnating them. Mm-hmm. Let that sink in. But this is supposed to be the morality police. This is supposed to be the administration of Christianity. This is supposed to be the administration that's going to set the record straight. There's a couple of things we know about this administration. They lie, they steal, they cheat, they rape. That's what we know. And none of those things are okay in the Bible. None of them. Go read your 10 Commandments and let me know if any of those things are not mentioned in the 10 Commandments. Mm-hmm. They don't like this type of teaching. But see, they don't have an answer when you break it down to them like that. They don't have an answer. Well, nope, stop deflecting. It is what it is. Yeah. Where does it say that this is okay? Where does it say that this is okay? But again, and I will continue to say this as we watch our economy crash in real time, in 4K, as we watch our gas prices rise to an alarming rate, as we see health insurance be stripped away daily, as we see our grocery store bill get larger for less, as we see our own ICE agents become terrorists in our very streets, as we see our air become dirtier because they stripped a lot of demands that they had to keep our air clean, that we breathe in our lungs, you know what I'm saying? As we see rent on the rise, interest rates on the rise and we see first home buyer age on the rise, as we see being able to even refinance your home on the decline, as we see on the rise that now people are having to move in with family and coexist in order to afford a roof over their head, as we see the cost of a car on the rise, as we see the very goods that we used to could get for one price rise to something else, as we see all of these things rise, right? As we see all of that, as we see these kids being raped, as we see people being detained unlawfully without due process, as we see all of this bullshit going on, was it really worth it? Are you winning? That's really what I want to answer. Are you winning? Is this what winning feels like for you? For someone that voted for Donald Trump. Someone that said the lesser of two evils, there was no lesser of two evils. It was disastrous and somebody that was going to give us something to live for. It's serious business out here. As my AKAs say, this is a serious matter. It is a serious matter. Okay. And this is why I said the other day, those political science degrees, those sociology degrees, all those degrees, those liberal arts degrees, all of those degrees why are you getting that? No, it doesn't look so daunting, does it? Because we're able to use our critical thinking skills, right? to break down these things and not believe everything that somebody says. So I want to stop the whole, oh, the lesser of two evils. Oh, she locked up black men. She was the head cop in California. She had to do a job. Number one. Number two, once you break down the statistics, that was not so. That was propaganda that you allowed to be brainwashed to believe, all because she was a black woman that is happy, that is married to a white Jewish man. All because for some reason our race is the only race that always likes to pick apart our own people and try to find something wrong with them, to dilute who they are and to discredit and disqualify them for a position that they are going for, that they rightly deserve. And why we do that as a culture, you know what? That goes back to slavery time. That goes back to the survival mechanism. That is nothing but crabs in a barrel. Get out the goddamn barrel. We cannot win. We cannot progress as a culture that way. We cannot move forward that way. Stop trying to find any little thing to discredit somebody that looks like you, someone who went to a HBCU, someone who can identify with your language, your music, your food, your struggles. Stop voting against your own goddamn interest and tearing up your own people. Stop it. And this whole I'm not voting for anybody, voting for not voting for someone is putting the other person in office. But I hope for the ones that said it was the lesser of two evils and voted for Trump. I hope for the ones that said women are too emotional or I'm not voting at all. I hope for the ones that said that. I hope for the ones that said Trump was going to turn this country around. And also, let's dispel this myth. Black men did vote. 82% of Black men voted for Kamala. So let's stop that rhetoric right there while we're at it. But again, the ones that said lesser of two evils, that Trump was going to be a good for the economy, he was going to get this country on the right path, he was going to put money back in our pockets, and he was going to make America great again. Ones that said it was a lesser of two evils and I can't trust her because women are too emotional, she laughs too much, or I'm not going to vote because I don't like either one of them, or my vote really doesn't count. How is it feeling now? How does it feel? Rest in peace, D'Angelo. How does it feel now? When your gas tank, for those who do not have electrical cars, Trump just okayed gas companies, oil companies to provide diluted gas. Yeah, this is the shit we talking about. You about to have lab grown meat, you know, where they take genetically that they make. Y'all follow me? And if you're not reading the label carefully, you're going to be eating fake meat. You know, those that like steak, those that like to go get ground beef for their spaghetti or tacos on Taco Tuesday. Those that like to go buy their chicken breast. Better be careful of the label, because if it says sell, it has sell in there, anything like that, anything other than farm, anything other than these other things, you better research it, and you better pay attention to those labels, because you will be eating fake meat. And what that fake meat does to your body, we have no idea, but we do know the fake meat is being brought to you by Jeff Bezos and nasty ass Bill Gates. You know, Bill Gates that went out there to Epstein Island and then asked him needed a doctor to give him penicillin shot because he was going to give his wife an STD. That Bill Gates. The Bill Gates whose wife left him because she knew that he was doing nasty things out there on Epstein Island. And she said she could tell when he came back, his soul was cold then. That Bill Gates. Jeff Bezos, who him and his first wife divorced, and he had to give her half because she helped him build that thing out of their garage, right? Married some bimbo with more injection holes in her face than the potholes in New York City. Uh-huh. Yeah. I just want to know, how is this winning? I want to know that. And I want to know the explanation. The answer that I'm looking for is the answer that has nothing to do with Kamala Harris, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, or Joe Biden. That's the type of answer I'm looking for. I need a real answer that does not pivot to one of those people's names. That's what I want to know. That's exactly what I want to know. Meanwhile, you got people scraping at the bottom to afford food, afford to get their kids to and from school, extracurricular activities, to pay for the light bill, to pay to keep their car, because repos are on the rise. They've showed that. They showed that car payments, it is at an alarming rate. It is actually at the recession rate that people are calling their car companies, whoever they finance through the bank, and asking them, can they put their car payment on the back end? And then at the same time, if you had a student loan, they are forcing you to a different repayment plan, so you cannot qualify for loan forgiveness. And you're going to be paying a higher interest rate because they sent it to me. You're going to be paying a higher interest rate, so everything is high. When gas goes up, guess what goes up? Your eggs, your milk. If you have a house cleaner that comes to your house, she got to get there. Then her products that she buys are going to go up, so her bottom line has to go up. The very clothes that you buy for not only yourself, your children, that's going to go up, because guess what? It has to take a truck to get it there. So if it's costing the company X amount of dollars to get this company, whoever this transport company is, to get the clothes there. Also, let's not forget about the tariffs that have been implied on the imported goods. So we're really being double taxed right now. So it's an increase on everything. It's an increase on coffee. We got a bunch of coffee lovers. I'm a coffee lover. I am an iced coffee girl. Okay. And I have seen the direct reflex of Dunkin' Donuts. But he was going to save the economy. Meanwhile, the stock market is on the brink of a collapse, and he keeps manipulating by saying, oh, we've got a ceasefire deal in the works before the stock market opens, so that he makes sure it doesn't crash. But they're also starting to catch on as well. Meanwhile, you have states that still have minimum wage at like $7, $11 in some places, $9 in others. Where are you going to live a decent life making that amount? You can't even rent a room with that type of pay. Realistically, minimum wage should be around $30. Realistically, with the cost of living so high. And this is why Mayor Mondami is getting it right. If you go see the work that he's doing in the city, he's employing people. Crime rate is significantly down. But here's the other thing that I want to say. Democrats, hey, the Democratic Party. I love Hakeem Jeffries, I do. But you're not going to cut it. We need someone like AOC in there who is going to read the fine print and is going to break you down. We need folks that are going to stop accepting the AIPAC money, who is funded by Israel, who are going to stop accepting the AIPAC money and funding, so that when it comes time to vote to send money, all of this money and missiles and all this defense stuff to Israel, people can say no. Because it's costing our American people their lives. Not only are their lives, but they come back not mentally the same. The Democratic Party better wake up. And they better wake up and stop talking about, well, we want to do it by the book. Are the Republicans doing it by the book? Sometimes you got to get in dirty. And it's just like when it's time to fight. There is no such thing as a fair fight. Fighting is fighting. I'm going to get you where you live. I'm going to get it the best way I know possible because it is survival tactics. You are in survival mode at that moment. So your object is to defeat the opponent at all costs. Now, I'm not saying doing some of the stuff that they do, but we've got to learn how to use the loopholes to our advantage and stick it to them. And then the messaging needs to be clear and concrete, and also understand that there is no cookie cutter candidate. What may win in Florida is not going to win in Chicago. What may win in Chicago is not going to win in California. What will win in California is not going to win in Texas. Okay? And we got to start waking up to that. And understand affordability is one part of it. We can have some similarities in our campaigns, but we also have to look at the demographic that we're preaching to and curtail it to that, and then execute the message seamlessly and find a tagline and drive it in their heads. Because for so long, people were so against the Affordable Care Act because they said it was Obamacare. And then when you would say, hey, the Obamacare, we hate Obamacare, but we like the ACA. They're the same thing. But because Republicans were able to drive it in our heads, Obamacare, 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 they didn't realize that it was the same damn thing. And cut the working across the aisle. Thank you, brother. This reaching across the aisle, fuck them. Respectfully and disrespectfully. Because when it's time for them to work across the aisle, they're not even there. And John Fetterman out of Pennsylvania, go fuck yourself. Because you're sitting here voting with Republicans on to hurt your own constituents. Ever since you had that stroke, you ain't been right. Get his ass up out of here. Get him up out of here. Okay, get him up out of here. He gotta go. All right, you gotta go. And oh, shaky ass, what's her name? The senator out of Maine. Oh, shaky ass Susan Collins is always concerning. What's concerning is the way you have voted, and you've got nothing done that the 8 terms that you have been there. You have voted lockstep with this crazy ass president, lockstep and barrel, even at the extent of your state of Maine. And even when they bribed you and said, we'll give you a little bit more money, you didn't think about the rest of the country. You said, fuck the rest of the country. As long as I get a couple of extra dollars and nobody attacks me, I'll take it. Bitch, please. Oh, shaky ass. Yeah. The governor is now running against shaky Susan Collins. And I hope the governor of Maine is a Democrat. I hope she wins and unseats her. Because someone needs to. Maine deserves better. Then you got Susan Murkowski out there in Alaska. Get her ass out of here too. I have to think about that. Bitch, ain't nothing to think about. What side are you on? She signed up and her own people in Alaska lost health care. And then she's going to say, well, I didn't know it was going to do that. Bitch, did you not read the fine print? See, here's another one with the chili syndrome, not reading the fine print. How are you an elected senator, the most prestigious thing underneath being the president of the United States, a senator? How are you an elected senator and you're not reading the fine print and you can't see the writing on the wall? Bullshit. I call bullshit on all of y'all. The Democrats better wake it up. Wake it up. Jasmine Crockett is right. They need to let my sis cook. John Ossoff is right. Let him cook. Okay? Hakeem Jeffries, you can cook. But see, you do a lot of grandstanding. I want to see you cook when it matters. Then you got Chuck Schumer over there. He's a senator out of New York. And I like Chuck Schumer. But you too old. Step the hell down. And let these youngins, AOC needs to unseat him. Let these youngins cook. The people don't want what y'all have. How is it? Please explain this to me. Please explain this to me. How is it that there's everything else in America? They look at your physical fitness and mental health to see whether they're going to allow you to do a certain job. Okay? How is it everywhere in America? Your driver's license. Once you get too old, the doctor kind of says, "Oh, I don't think they should be able to drive anymore." Okay. When you're in the military, after a certain age, you can't even enlist anymore because they're worried about physical fitness and mental fitness, right? People retire after a certain age because they just kind of lose it, right? They're not as sharp as they used to be, right? Doctors, they eventually leave their practices and they retire and they hang up their stethoscope because they've reached that age where they're not as mentally capable as they once were, right? You've got bus drivers who from the DOT, they've got to take exams every year, and someone from the DOT has to ride with them to make sure their reflex is there, all these things, the understanding is there, right? Engineering, you got to make sure X, Y, and Z. When people are hiring people, they look at your age because it isn't such thing as ageism, right? Caregivers. How are you going to run behind a 2-year-old and you're an 80-year-old nanny? That doesn't work. Y'all follow where I'm going here. You cannot be a physical fitness trainer at the age of 75 to a high-powered athlete because what they need, your body most likely is not going to be able to give. Now, there's anomalies there. There is anomalies. But as the president of the United States, hold on, back up. Also, your background check. If you've got a felony, that disqualifies you from so many positions and jobs and opportunities, even living opportunities. Where you live, you can't even fill out that application and get past the first initial screening because the moment they know that you had a felony on your record, you are disqualified, right? You are disqualified. But oh no, the president of the United elected officials, not only the president, but elected officials, the Senate, the House of Representatives, right? We have people who were born in the 1940s. In the 1940s, people who were alive in the Jim Crow era. Y'all following me? How is it that we keep electing and taking orders from people that are even not in the present day time? These are people that can't even work electronics that good. People that were involved in the Jim Crow era that probably still see the country that way because that's the way that they were raised. Their ideas don't even match where we are. And we're still electing these old ass white men who are pedophiles and who are gay men behind closets to tell us what we should and should not do, to tell us how we should be able to live, to tell us how much we should be able to be paid. Don't somebody find that crazy as hell? We got the oldest president ever who is senile, who has dementia right before our eyes, who is tanking, who is literally crumbling away. This man cannot even do a full, complete day of meetings because he's not physically or mentally capable. Where if you look at the president's schedule, oh, he has a briefing at 1 p.m. and he's resting the rest of the day. Get the fuck out of here. We don't even see him exercise. Meanwhile, we did see Joe Biden exercise, even though he fell off his bike or whatever because he hit something. But he was able to exercise. We saw Barack Obama running. We saw George Bush running. We know Bill Clinton runs because you would, at one point in time, you would even see Bill Clinton in Harlem running. And he wouldn't even he would tell his Secret Service to stand down because he would always say, I'm with my people here in Harlem. But yet we've got Mitch McConnell, who made sure we could not impeach Donald Trump, who is tripping over himself every day of the week and probably twice on Sunday. We got Senator Kennedy out in Louisiana, who is so old, he doesn't even know how Twitter and Instagram works. He's got this sagging neck. These are people that were born in, that were alive and active during the Jim Crow era. And we want to keep electing these folks in office. Get their old asses out of there and tell them to go play with their grandchildren and stop playing with us. It is time. Barack Obama said it best. It is old white men who can't let go of being in office. It is time to step down. It is time to step down. It is time to get out of there. If you don't even know how Instagram, Twitter, and Threads work, what are you doing in the office? Making laws. That means you're not up to date. That means you're not up to date. That means you're not in 2026. That means your messaging is going to be piss poor. The energy will not be there. One reason why Barack Obama was successful is because he had the energy of the young people and he knew how to speak to them. People who grew up in the 1940s do not know how to speak of people who were born in the 80s and 90s. Prove it to me where they can. The only reason why Nancy Pelosi stayed in there because she knew she was the only thing that could keep Donald Trump in check. And people owe her a lot. She is probably the most prolific House Speaker we will ever see. She held the line. She whipped them counts to get that Affordable Care Act in here. She was the only one that could look down and stare down Donald Trump's nasty ass throat and tell him, I ain't going and I dare you to blink, bitch. She's the only one that would call him exactly what it is. He's a liar and I ain't going. And she would tell you right after she would come out of a White House meeting. She would stand out there and say, he's lying and I'm not going. She had her party in line. Unlike Chuck Schumer, when it was time to vote on that health care, he gave leeway because I'm going to tell y'all something. There is no such thing as a rogue senator. See, they play math because they look at who's up for re-election, right? Because he was scared of the shutdown was going to be named the Schumer shutdown. He should have let it be because we probably wouldn't be where we are right now, right? So had he held him in line and said no, because in the Senate, you have to have a majority. They don't have a majority without 3 Democratic votes. We had them by the balls. Oh, but Chuck Schumer gave them the green light. And I don't care what they say. They're never going to admit it probably until later. Okay, I'll get you Bonefish. Now go in there. Chuck Schumer gave them the green light to become rogue because they're not up for re-election. And so by the time re-election comes, people have forget about, well, we're not forgetting. Chuck Schumer was supposed to keep them in line and let the Republicans sweat. The same way that they're sweating now during this TSA shutdown, because just because an executive order was given down to pay these people, it's still a shutdown. Sorry, y'all, my child in here. It is still a shutdown. No matter which way we look at it. And for those who wondering, he's asking for Bonefish and he combines it and asks for bish. That's what it is. He ain't saying bitch. He's asking for bish. But these are the problems that we're facing internally, structurally. And we've got to break it down and bust it wide open. And we've got to get candidates in there that are going to make common sense laws. And they're going to stop reaching across the aisle to work with people who really don't want to work with them, who are going to use them as pawns at any opportunity that they get. We are playing Uno while they're playing chess. They're playing a board game while we're playing a card game. We're not even in the same room. We're not at the same table. We're not shooting at the same basket. We're not even on the same court. They better get it together. And you also better look at these judges that are running for office. And you can see their history. You can dig into all of that because it is public record. You can see what they allow to happen in their court. And luckily, these federal judges have been holding the line, because those judges that brought the hammer down on Trump yesterday were appointed by George Bush. Yes, they are conservative, but they're also institutionalist. They take it very serious. They do not want a stain on their record. Democrats better wake up. Society better wake up. We better wake up. And I'm not talking about waking up in the point of let's go out here and protest. Let them protest. Good for them. Because the moment that the protest usher in a high level of Black people, that's when you're going to see the riot year come out. And that's when it's going to get violent. As you know, Black Lives Matter protests, they tried to make it very violent and it wasn't violent, right? Over 200,000 people just protested in New York this past weekend. They covered 2 avenues long. Not one arrest was made, because that is freedom of speech. And people are not protesting to be violent. People are protesting to be heard because they're angry and they're organizing. Black folks, stay your ass out of them streets. Use your dollars as a way to protest. Inform your family members. Start speaking to your community. This is what this means, because a lot of stuff happens because we're ill-informed or misinformed. Stop letting the propaganda about people that look like us, that are fighting for us, that something is wrong with them. They're too educated. They want to act ghetto. They want to do this. I hear this rhetoric. Jasmine Crockett came from a 2-family home and she tries to act ghetto. I don't see her as ghetto. I see her as a sis. So they better get it together, and they better get it together fast. And I plan on sitting in some of these town halls that are going to be coming up so that I can ask questions and be very informed. That I plan to try to watch as many town halls as I can and see what's going on, so we can look at these people's voting records. We can see what they vote for, what they don't vote for secretly, because there's a lot of things that get through that we don't really understand, and that people that we've elected are voting in lockstep with some of this stuff. For a trade-off. Nah, it can't be no trade-offs, bruh. That's over with. Working together, that's over with. It's for the people, by the people, of the people, or not at all. Period. They called Mondami a socialist, a communist, all of these things, and New York is thriving. Guess what? People that work for the city now have free childcare, and they've opened up centers for them to take their children there for free. And he's working on that to be accessible for everyone. But the first step was city workers. You know why he did that? To increase and encourage more people to work for the city. Because it is a shortage of sanitation workers. It is a shortage of ENT. It's a shortage of all these things that work in the city that keep the city of New York going. So he says, hey, let's build some structural things in here that not only can we usher in great minds and great workers, but also longevity. This should be happening across America. It really should be. Quality education should be free. The public education used to be prime, but we let McMahon and what was that that other crook that was in that was in office, whatever her crazy name is, another old white lady, dismantle our public education, our Department of Education. How are you going to have people in place who've never worked in education, who don't know how who don't even have a degree in public education administration? But they do have a degree in school choice and private school sector, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to privatize everything, so we have to pay for everything. And if you can't afford it, you're going to have to go to where we tell you to go. The same way with special education, they're trying to do this voucher thing that they give you a stipend every year for you to choose where your child goes. No. What they're going to do is their friends are going to create these centers for our special education kids to go to. Just another way of doing it, what they used to do for these children, and they lock them in a room and they have no oversight, and then they can be abused and used and whatever and forgotten about and shunned away from society while these centers are getting paid or the parent is pocketing the money. Wake the fuck up. Wake up all the way. Now I'm done for today. My nice little rants. I've ranted for an hour and 30 minutes, longer than what I wanted to. Please make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Okay. Please make sure you do that. Leave a comment underneath. Engagement is great because it lets YouTube know that you are engaging. Okay. Even I have negative comments. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Whatever. That is to be expected because politics is a very fiery topic. It is a very sensitive topic, because I am so raw with it and so blatant with it. I understand it comes with that, but it doesn't bother me because I know I researched the facts. This is not propaganda. This is not Fox News. Stop getting your news from Fox News. I watch Fox News to know what they're talking about and laugh at them. I do not intake anything from Fox News. I told y'all the people to watch. Don Lemon, Joy Reid, Jim Acosta, The Midas Touch. Go watch Rachel Maddow on Mondays. Lawrence O'Donnell comes on every night at 10. Stephanie Rule comes on every night at 11 on MS Now. Watch those people. Those are truth finders. Those are fact finders. Ari Melber at 6 o'clock, I think, on MS Now. Most of MS Now is going to be fact finders. CNN, what's my girl named Abby? She always has a good round table, and there's always somebody there to cut it down and break them down and tell them, listen, take that racist shit somewhere else. Always a good time to watch that. Be informed, get informed, and inform. Go stock up on your goods, your water, all of these things. Have a way to survive. When shit get too costly, shit get too spooky, have a way to survive inside your house. If you have a yard, start growing your produce. I don't care if it's just herbs and some bananas and some lemons or whatever. Start growing them. You can buy the hydro planting stations to go. If you apartment living like myself, I am going to invest in a hydro planting station where I can grow my green stuff because I love kale. I love spinach. I love my herbs. I cook with herbs all the time. And guys, over the summertime, I do think I'm going to start talking politics while cooking because I love to cook. So not only will we be fed, we will be fed. And I plan on bringing some people to have conversations. It's one person I really want to bring up here to have conversations with them. Maybe her and I can do a weekly thing. But I plan on eventually getting comfortable enough to having some roundtable discussions with several people that I'll pick that are comfortable with doing it and coming up here and we talk. We talk about what's going on. Now, if you're bringing propaganda from the left side, you're not going to be invited. I mean, from the right side, you're not going to be invited. You have to speak with facts. Racism isn't tolerated over here. Bigotry is not tolerated over here on this channel. So I am looking to expand things in that way. So if you are somebody that would feel comfortable about talking about politics and are open-minded and can have a discussion, leave a comment underneath one of my videos so that I can mark it down to know that to circle back around to you when it comes that time. But I hope you guys enjoy your Wednesday. Again, happy National Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month to those families that have a family member that is on the spectrum. And shout out to those people, the adults, the teenagers, and our kiddos that are out here thriving and figuring out their mark on this world. They're not to be forgotten either. Okay? For those that know Jackson, go ahead and donate to his little donut fund. Okay. Y'all know it's $5. The real K-Fit is the Cash App. That'd be a great little way to say we support you in your walk in autism. We do. For those that know. But until next time, thank you. Thank you all for joining Politics in Plain English, where we discuss current political topics, what it means, why it means that, and what it means for you. Okay? Enjoy the rest of your day.